Honourable Member for Castries South.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's a little strange if all those amendments and bills, and even though all of them are interrelated, and I certainly would not want to try to speak on each one. Mr. Speaker, my major concern with what we're doing today is probably more to do with the strategic approach that the government has used to deal with this issue. This is probably, Mr. Speaker, the most serious legislative changes that this government has come to in this House. Based on what the Prime Minister said, what I know of those issues and the changes that have been proposed, this will sound the death knell of the financial services sector in St. Lucia. It will kill the financial services sector. Certainly reading it as early as now, there'll be no difference essentially between companies, local companies and IBCs. And it really makes me wonder whether it is not a bit premature for us to be coming here to make those changes. And I would certainly like to ask the Prime Minister whether or not there's been consultation in the Bar Association, the Accountant Association, and other relevant stakeholders in St. Lucia on those proposed changes. I don't know, I did not hear the Prime Minister the member for Mico South make reference to having consulted those stakeholders and the individuals involved in financial services, because this is going to dramatically change the financial services sector. And I recall, Mr. Speaker, in an earlier debate in this House, after, I think it was during the debate on the headquarters agreement, I made a point, Mr. Speaker, because I had in an earlier life been made aware of what the EU was thinking about some of those legislative arrangements that are in jurisdictions like ours. And I kept saying that we should not go around boasting to the world that we are actually creating an arrangement that will accentuate the concerns of the EU. The EU have already explained their concerns with what they consider to be leakages, financial leakages from their jurisdiction. And whereas the problem preceded the headquarters agreement, what we did with the headquarters agreement was to accentuate a difficult situation. And we were boasting all over the world that we were doing it. And Mr. Speaker, I know the Prime Minister says he never wants any advice from me, but I would probably ask him not to proceed with those changes as yet. There probably has to be a different approach to it. Has there been a regional collaborative approach to dealing with the OECD on this matter? Are we going alone as a lone ranger on this matter? Have we mustered all the diplomatic muscle that we have to be able to confront the OECD and the EU on this matter? This requires an intense diplomatic initiative to deal with, because you don't do it after you pass the changes. Because, Mr. Speaker, I won't be surprised if we are blacklisted again in January and the EU and maybe the OECD does not accept those changes. Because in the back of all those changes, I think everyone can see what's been done and what is it the tactics being used here. There has to be a frank dialogue, and I don't know how frank it will be. It might not be a very intense and delicate dialogue with the EU and the other agencies involved on those changes. This is a serious matter. This probably ought to have been brought before a committee of the House to discuss first and adopt a national position on it, because the government being blacklisted and the sufferance for us is not just for the government, and we can fight our politics in here, but there can be long-term consequences that neither side really wants. So my issue is not so much with each individual bill and the amendments. I think globally, all those changes are going to severely affect our financial services sector. And I'm not sure in my mind that the EU and the OECD will even accept those changes, because they want their pound of flesh, if one can put it that way in the common language. And for what it is worth, I am not sure we should proceed today with those recommended proposed changes. Thank you very much.